I'm near the Vestergaard pegmatite again in the Petaca district of New Mexico, and I've been surveying this this area where I found quite a few nice specimens. And if you take a look at my last video, you'll see what I'm talking about. We're in the process of trying to figure out where the original pegmatite is, where all these specimens are coming from. And I've been walking back and forth. I'm actually using a GPS application this time to very methodically cover this terrain. And I've been walking quite a while among the hits previously, so I expected to get something, and sure enough, I seem to have gotten quite a nice hit here. So let me just see if I can get my stuff out and dig it up for you. It feels like it may be near the surface, and it looks like it's going to be easy digging. So I'm going to sort of scrape off, listen to my instrument, see if it feel like it moves. I don't hear it moving, but let's see. Yeah, it seems to be right in there. So let me move the dirt out of my staging area here and just see if I can get it right off the top. No, it's a little bit lower. A little bit lower. Nothing there. So let me just try to see if I can scoop it out here. It's always difficult with the camera in one hand. I didn't even put on my gloves. So, okay, let's see if that could have moved it. I think it did. What do you think? Let's see what we got over here. Oh, whatever it is, it's pretty darn hot. Right in this hand. And let's see if I can just eyeball it. That's it. Okay. It looks like, not quite sure what it is. Need to go wash it off, but it's a nice big piece. Got nice crystal form. Yeah, I think this is a typical specimen that we've been finding around here. Look at that nice termination. Actually looks like a crystal termination. Very nice. So right down there toward the gully is where I found the last specimen, that nice big specimen. And it appears that I found something here as well. It's not as strong, but it's pretty localized. So it's either small or it's deep. So let me see what we've got here. Okay, so this one was a couple inches underneath the ground. Had to dig for it a little bit, whereas the other specimen close by was right on the surface. So these evidently weathered out eons apart. But this one's kind of interesting. It's got some reddish color to it. I need to get it back and wash it off a little bit better. But it looked like a nice specimen. Interesting. So this has been very quiet. What I don't show you is how far I have to walk before I get a hit. You know, I may have to walk half an hour before I get a hit, but this one appears to be pretty localized. And so I will, well, I know it's a little bit hotter than it seems. Wow. Sometimes these things kind of disappear on you, and you wonder how you found them in the first place. But I know there's a, there we go. I knew there was a hot spot in here. There we go. Okay, so let me just start digging here. All right, so let's see if we can start digging in the right spot to begin with. It's not a very strong hit, but it's very localized. So I'm hoping it's another deep one that's buried. Okay, so it's somewhere in here. So I'll scrape off a layer and then check it again. See how hot it gets just by scraping off a little bit. It gets, huh. Certainly hasn't gotten terribly hot, so that means it could be buried deeper here. Let me just break up some of this soil. And this way I'll figure out pretty quick how deep it is. Or maybe it's just a dispersed hot spot. We'll find out pretty quick here. So it either should have gotten considerably hotter, or I maybe moved it. Yep. What do you think? I think I moved it. So let's see where it is. Somewhere in there. Let's just see. Not very hot. I think I see it here. Yeah, this is it. It's one of these typical specimens. Got some nice crystal form to it. So I would expect this to be very similar to the ones we're finding down the road. I'm walking back to get the dogs, go up and eat some lunch, and I just happened to hit a hot spot right close by. So let me see what I can find here. Okay, so it's right in there. Sounds like a pretty good one. Whatever it is. This is hard packed dirt. You may have to break it up. Yeah, it's down there. So I'm going to do what I did last time. I'm just going to break up a bunch of it, and probably that's going to yield a specimen pretty quick. And working around it like this is going to make it harder to break the specimen. I've done that too many times. So all right, let's see. I think we moved it. Somewhere in there. Yep. Let's see what we got this time. Oh yeah, this looks like another monocyte. You can just see the red. It's a nice big chunk. So this would be the third or the fourth monocyte, depending on the last one that I found, which is pretty exciting. These are the specimens that I found this morning in the course of about 2 hours. So it's about a half an hour walking to find each specimen, but it's well worth it because these are some good ones. This one's got a lot of crystal faces to it. I think it's similar to the ones we find down the road, as well as this one. Now this one actually looks like it could be a complete crystal. It's got facets on all sides, almost like a betaphyte. So that's pretty cool. This is that monocyte that is really beautiful. It's got streaks of yellow in it, and it's quite a nice specimen. Very interesting. But then this one is the weirdest one so far. It's got this reddish coloration to it, and it looks quite different from anything else I've found up here so far. So it'll be exciting to get home and analyze this to see what it is. At this point I wouldn't even venture a guess. It's pretty cool. So my doggies are just patiently waiting for me. They've got a nice shady spot with some water, and I'm just sweeping back and forth this area that's not too far from them, so if they're in distress for some reason, I'll be able to get here quick. So I've worked my way down into this ravine that I found a bunch of specimens last time, and so I'm a little bit more methodical this time, and I found another hit. It's not real strong, but it's fairly localized. Oh, that's a good spot. So let me see if I can pull this out pretty quick. I've been walking for about an hour this afternoon, haven't found anything, but I've been covering a lot of area that I hadn't previously found specimens, so that's to be understood. I'm trying to sort of expand out the areas where I've found specimens, but I'm back to an area where I found them before. So you always spend a certain amount of time trying to develop a new area, which may not be productive. Usually is not. Okay, there we go. Of course, this could just be some dispersed hot rock. Got a big rock here. Let me try pulling it out. No, it's not the hot one. That's good. Okay, I think I'm getting close. Let me just see if I can get in here. Boy, it's such a nice day. Warm on the skin, but there's still kind of a chill in the air, which is a great feeling. And the dogs are comfortable. And I can walk around here for hours on end. And it's just delightful. All right, now let's see if I've moved it. I think so. There we go. That's always a fun sound, isn't it? Okay, somewhere right in there. All right. See if I can get it up where you can see it. There it is right there. I'll be doggone if that doesn't look like another monocyte. Yep. That's what it looks like. Boy, I went before the last trip. I hadn't found a single monocyte, and now I'm finding quite a few. So this one looks similar to the last one I found. I'll go clean it up and we'll compare it. So this is later in the afternoon, and after a little rest, the dogs and I are out here trying a different area from what we did this morning in the early afternoon. This is down closer to the wash above Vestergaard. And I left the dogs uphill and came on down, and lo and behold, seems like I've got a pretty good hit here. So let me see what I can do about digging it out. So it's gotten a little cloudier. Hope that doesn't mean that there's some weather moving in. But for right now, it's wonderful to have a little bit of overcast because the sun's getting quite warm. So let's see if we can dig in the right spot here. Looks like it's right in there. Looks promising. And this sounds like it's pretty close to the surface. So let's see if I move it with just a little bit of scraping. Yep, sure did. So it's over here. There we go. And I think I see it. Yeah. Okay. This looks like another typical crystal like we find down in the road. Looks like it's got some nice facets to it. So this is my third hit this afternoon. Kind of right on schedule, about every half hour. Well, maybe it's more like 45 minutes or something. They're kind of sparse through this area, but it's always exciting to get a nice hit. And this one actually is next to a fallen tree. I'm gonna have to work around the branches here, but I think should be fairly easy. A little deeper. There's a lot of ants in here as well. Nope. Still a little deeper. All right, so I guess you know the routine by now. If it doesn't pop right out of there, then I'll use my chisel and hammer to break up the area. And then it'll generally pop right out of there. All right, let's see what we got here. Got a couple of big rocks. Get those out of the way. All right, let's see if we've moved it. Yeah, I think so. There we go. That's a pretty hot one there. There we go. I would say that's a pretty big one. Oh my goodness. This, from my experience, is a piece of columbite. See how big it is? And it's just kind of a big lump. That's how these columbites tend to come out of the road. I've collected quite a few of these, so, but this may be the very first columbite that I've collected up here above the wash. But once again, this shows that these specimens are coming from this area above the wash, and they get moved down into the road where they tend to collect for some reason. So, great find. So as we were headed back towards the car, making a beeline toward the car, but I kept my instrument waving back and forth, and sure enough, I hit a nice crystal here. For a while, I didn't think it was going to yield anything because it just seemed to be moving around, but this is quite nice. Nice way to end the evening, assuming I don't find anything else. Well, there's the hole I just pulled that nice little specimen out of with all the facets, and right here are a couple of holes down in this ravine that I've dug previously, and right between them is another hit. So I don't know if I'm going to make it back tonight if I keep getting all these hits. Well, this turned out to be just a little crystal. Probably just a small version of what we find down in the road there. So, very nice. So these are the specimens that I found this afternoon. And when you take them together with the 4 that I found this morning, I found a total of 10, which is a good haul for one day. And this monocyte is very similar to the one that I found this morning. So that's interesting. And this one is really sharp crystal faces. I mean, look at how sharp those are. So that's a nice find. These are pretty ordinary by appearance. Now this one I assumed is a columbite because I've found several others that look very similar to this, big massive things, but this one is only going to measure, it's actually going to measure about 20,000 counts per minute once it gets up there, and that's pretty hot for a columbite. So I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be something else, but it's a nice specimen in any case. So tomorrow I'm gonna go down and finish searching that area where I found these, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Hello. 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 Dios mío, tanto polvo. Yo voy a necesitar darles un baño, o por lo menos con un trapo mojado. Well, it's a beautiful morning. Nice and cool, but sunny. And I've been walking around for 2.5 hours without a single hit. Almost 2 miles. And I was beginning to wonder. But finally I got a little hit here. And maybe my luck is changing, but this is really weird that I found a hit about every half hour yesterday or so, and today nothing. But maybe this one specimen will make up for it. So let's just see what we got here. It's not terribly strong. Having a little trouble localizing it, but I think there's something there. Just move these pine needles out of the way. This is nice, easy digging so far. Oh yeah, we've got something there. Right in there someplace. Okay, so it's somewhere right under this hard packed soil. So I'm going to break it up a little bit. That's nice. Alrighty. Let's see if we got it. No, we haven't yet. double check this dirt after I get this specimen out of here, because it's sort of creating all kinds of signals. Unless there's another one lurking in there. Ooh, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. I've been dreaming of finding a monster specimen that's just off the charts here. And this has the potential because it's pretty deep. But I think I'm going to get it pretty soon here. I've localized it. I just want to try to avoid damaging it. Nice, easy place to dig in the shade with a convenient downhill staging area. It's always good when you don't have to push the dirt uphill. I think we got it. Somewhere in there. There we go. Oh, I can already tell without even measuring it. Remember that monster columbite we found yesterday? Here's its evil twin. Look at that. Almost sends the instrument off the chart. This is just like the one we found yesterday. Unbelievable. So this is the big specimen that I found this morning, and it's actually quite a bit larger than the one I found yesterday, and I thought it was huge. So this is interesting. I found quite a few specimens similar to these, but not quite as big. And they were down in the road. And my theory is that the truly biggest specimens don't get that far from the pegmatite where they weather out, because it takes a lot more running water to move them. They tend to fall behind the smaller pieces, which get washed downstream. So I'm thinking that these things may be not far from where they weathered out. And it's really interesting because there's really not much crystal form here, but I'm thinking this is how they formed in the pegmatite. It's really mysterious how some things can have really stark crystal habits and others are just formless masses like this. But this morning was long and hard, and I think that I'm going to move on to back to the road where I know I can find some more specimens. So we'll check that out this afternoon. So to make up for the single specimen that I found after 2.5 hours of walking this morning, I'm going to dig here in the road in our favorite spot that's yielded literally dozens of specimens out of these holes. And I know that I'm going to find some more, especially up here where I was digging last time, and I pulled 17 specimens out of this big hole. But before I could even get to the hole, I found another little hit. So there are lots of specimens out here. Most of them are pretty small, but if you dig deep enough, you might find a big, nice one. So I found a couple of small specimens, and what I'm trying to do is just clear out this staging area around this big hole, because I'm going to have to move a lot of dirt, and I want to make sure that the area around it is clear of radioactivity, or at least a very low level, so I can tell when I've moved things. So that's where we park, and we have walked across this area dozens of times, and we found all the specimens here in the road, but up here on the shoulder, somehow we've been missing them. And last time I found a couple of nice digging spots right on top of the shoulder. And then as I was trying to clear this area in front, I ran across this huge hit, and I've rarely seen anything this big, but this is maybe the biggest or the second biggest of this type of mineral that that we found here. You can see it's a nice terminated crystal. This is probably a complete crystal here. And the reason I've been kind of vague about the specimens we've found down here is we're not quite sure what this is. My latest X-ray fluorescence seems to indicate that it may be Davidite, but we're waiting on a more definitive analysis. And but that is one nice specimen to pull out right here, and somehow we've been missing it the dozen or more times that we've been up here. So after I've gotten tired of digging over here in these holes, there's still a lot of specimens in there, but they seem to be small and a lot of work to get out of there. So I decided to do a real thorough sweep here in this area where we park our cars. And in addition to that big one that I found behind me, I got another hit here. So let's see what we got. So it wasn't too deep. It's kind of strange. It's a big clod, I think. So let's see. This is a clod or is it a rock? Huh. Okay, so it's just a clod. There it is. It popped right out of there. Let's see. Yeah, it's a nice little specimen. The same sort of stuff that came out of that big hole, but just a smaller version of it. Or I should say that big specimen that came out of that hole nearby. Looks like it's got, this may be a complete complete crystal itself. Once I wash it off, we'll be able to tell. So I was just digging right there, and I started to sweep across again, and immediately ran across this little nice hot spot here. Getting closer to the car, but this area above the road is pretty quiet, except for the specimen. So it's kind of nice. Let's see what I can find here. All right, so let's see what we got here. Seems like it's going to be a pretty good specimen. Because it's localized, but it's kind of widely localized, which tells me it could be a pretty big piece. Okay, right in there. So let's scrape away a little bit. See, it's well, it's relatively quiet around the hole. A lot quieter than here. Yeah, it's still down there. So right next to the hole, it gets greatly less. So I could go get my pick and do just one swing of this. Since I've got it, might as well. Okay, where was I hammering? Right in there. So I'm hammering on the side here, hoping not to put too much stress on the specimen. Okay, I think I just do one little swing here on the side. That should break it up. Okay, let's see if we moved it here. No, I don't think so. Oh, but we're definitely getting closer. Okay, well, I'm gonna be careful. Better be safe than sorry, because I know it's right in there. So maybe I can pry it out from the side. Because I definitely don't want to find half a specimen. Although if I find the other half, I have been known to glue them back together again. So it's not the end of the world, but ooh. No, that's not it. Move this dirt out of the way. I think we moved it. Yep. I think it's in this dirt clod here. Oh, is that it? Yep, that's it right there. Okay, I think this is it. So this is another one of these specimens, kind of medium size. So I'm going to continue sweeping, see if I can find some more of these. So here's this afternoon's haul, all from down here in the road or next to the road. And most of these are from that big hole or nearby. And I would say that this one over here is probably a polycrase or a euxinite, and the rest are probably all the same specimen, like this one here. But this is a massive crystal. Like I say, it's either the biggest or second biggest one of an entire crystal like this that I have. So I'm very pleased with that one. So this is my fourth and last day up here in Petaca near the Vestergaard pegmatite. And my plan today is, rather than walk for miles as I've done the past couple of days, I'm going to concentrate in this road bed here, because this is where we've found literally a couple of hundred specimens. And it's a very curious place, because all the specimens are found above a certain point in the road. And in fact, this area at the bottom is where we've found the vast majority of the specimens. It's like they collected here. There, in ancient times, there must have been some reason for these things to settle here. But then after that point in the road, if you go further down the road, there is nothing. It's quiet. And it's always been, that's one of the curiosities about this place, is why the specimen stopped right here. So, but I'm going to actually use that to my advantage, because what I'm going to do is start down here and work my way up and find the first hit, and then I'll be able to dig it out, and because it'll be quiet around it. And then as I work my way up, I'll always have a quiet staging area behind me. So that's the plan for today. And maybe in the process we'll collect some more clues as to why this place is so mysterious. So I'm working my way up the road. Been pretty quiet except for the country rock here is slightly radioactive, and if you get a big mass of it, it can look like a signal. But I dug this one, and it's nothing but hot country rock. So I worked my way up here. Once again, occasional hit from this hot bedrock, and nothing exceptional until I got to this point right here. And this one seems to be a nice localized one. So it may be the first one as I work my way up the road. So let me see what I can get out of this hole. Okay, after about a half an hour of digging in this little hole here, let me show you what I pulled out of there. 5 little pieces. And not any one of them was very hot, but now I've got a quiet hole. So, oh, I said it was quiet. Yeah, I think that was just a random hit. You get that, a lot of little random hits. But this is relatively quiet compared to what it was when I started. And you may wonder why it is that I go to so much trouble for little pieces like that. Well, just right above here was where I found, among many other minerals, a nice piece of xenotime, which any collector will tell you is kind of the holy grail of radioactive rocks collecting. And they're actually very hard to find because they're not very radioactive. So it takes a lot of patience, and you got to follow up on every signal. And so that's what I'm going to try to do today. And if I come away with another xenotime, man, that would make the whole trip. This is what I found after a couple hours of digging this morning and working my way up the road. You can see I've come quite a distance, and I'm past most of the big holes, most of the major excavation that we've done. But despite the fact that I haven't subjected you to all the digging that I've had to do this morning, and I'm sure you're happy about that, I did find one spot that looks like it could be a monster. So I thought you might enjoy watching me dig this one out. Alrighty, now this one I'm going to need my hammer and chisel. And let's make sure we know exactly where we need to dig. Seems to be right here in the bottom. So I'm going to try to dig under it. could use the pick in here, but don't want to chance it. Now, of all those specimens that I found this morning, there's nothing really spectacular in there, but there could be some interesting ones potentially once I subject them to X-ray fluorescence. Do a little bit of analysis. You never know what you're going to find. And I'll show them, I'll wash them up and show them to you in just a little bit. Let's see if I can move this monster. Okay, now let's see what our staging area looks like here. Oh, good. Staging area is nice and quiet. So, yeah, let's see if we moved it here. No, either that. No, it's more than one piece. More than one piece. All right. Where is it? Okay. It's definitely something in this hand. Let's see. Here. This looks like, yep, that's it. Nice little crystal. Make sure there's nothing else. There might be something small in there. Well, let me just quickly show you what I got here. This is actually a nice little crystal. It's got some faces to it. Put this in my back pocket and make sure I'm not throwing out anything interesting here. It's not very hot, whatever it is, but you never know. It could be a xenotime. And I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater here. I think it may be just the staging area is a little hot on this side. I think that's all it is. You never know. It could be actually end up being another specimen. But this side of the staging area is. So actually, I'll check out that little hot spot after I dig a little bit out of here. It's evidently multiple pieces in here. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to get the pick going on this one. Now let me just do a couple of swings while you're watching. Okay. Won't hurt you to watch a little bit more video since I haven't made you watch that much this morning. Okay. Okay. I think that's going to require some more digging, but at least we got that one piece out of there that was probably the main source. In the meanwhile, I've discovered another little hot spot over here, so I'm going to be at this hole for a while. So these are the specimens that I've dug out this morning. and I've organized them by how hot they are. These are the hottest, these are kind of medium, these are low, and these are ultra low, which puts them in a different category. In fact, I'm kind of surprised I even found them. And this one you'll remember from my last video. This is a very nice crystal, and it's no wonder why I found it, because it measures about 30,000 counts per minute. So that's the hottest one. And then this big one over here is more like, let me see what it says here. It's gonna be more like 5,000, which is more in the columbite range. And this one may be the same for its size. It kind of looks like it may be another columbite, but I'll be able to tell real quickly once I X-ray use my X-ray fluorescence on it. Now, these little guys are unusual in that they're so weak, which gives me some hope that it's something a little different. Now, they are small, but this one is about 1,000 counts per minute, even so, and it looks a little different. It looks a little different. So if I were really lucky, this would be a xenotime, but I don't know what it is. Normally, when they're this size, they're still can be pretty hot. And this one, I don't know either why it's so weak. Now, it could be a piece of Davidite. It's more typical of the specimens that are found in like Australia that are very weak in uranium, and have more lanthanum. So anyway, we'll see what happens when I get these home. And then meanwhile, in the afternoon, I'm going to try to make my way a little further up the road. So I'm getting close to the top of the road where we normally dig, and I came upon this really hot spot, but it's way down in a crevice, so I'm having to really chisel it out. It's not easy digging, but we'll see what happens. So this turned out to be quite a difficult little dig. It was really wedged down in there deep, and turned out to be a nice little crystal, very hot. So it was worth the dig. Well, I ended up with a smaller haul this afternoon, but there are a couple of nice crystals in there, and I would say it's a good way to end up my trip. And toward the end there, I was actually not even digging all the hot spots I found. I would just mark them with the rock cairn, maybe for the next trip, because there's still a lot of specimens up there. So I'll go ahead and wrap this up. And actually, my dogs will be happy to go to Grandma's house. They're tired of this roughing it. Oh my! And I've got to wash them again before I put them in my sleeping bag. All righty.